Let's get into the first topic for today. Nvidia has reportedly been completely compromised by a cyber attack, and now they are threatening to release mining limiter killer. All right. So obviously we want to approach all of this with caution. People that are, going to release, basically software from a hack are more than likely, untrustworthy, meaning like if you see this leak, we're going to want to run all the virus scans on it, make sure everything's good to go, because that is going to be dangerous. But this is coming from Video Games Chronicles, and we'll start out here. And this was on February 26, 2022. Nvidia has reportedly been completely compromised by a cyber attack. So graphics firm Nvidia has been completely compromised by a potential cyber attack, it's being claimed. That's according to a new report published by The Telegraph, which claims that America's biggest microchip company has seen parts of his business taken offline for 2 days. According to the report, what's believed to be a malicious network intrusion has completely compromised Nvidia's internal systems, including email and developer tools, which have been suffering from outages since the middle of the week. It's unclear if any data has been stolen or deleted from Nvidia or from its customers, the report states, or if the attack has merely disrupted its systems. An Nvidia spokesperson told the publication, "We are investigating an incident. We don't have any additional information to share at this time." Alan Woodward, a cybersecurity expert at the University of Surrey, told The Telegraph that Nvidia likely decided to shut down its internal systems to minimize the risk of further damage. Quote, "The ultimate concern is that somebody may have put something in one of the software updates," end quote, Dr. Woodward said. Quote, "They'll be going through trying to make sure to see if there's any indication that anything has been changed in the software that they then shipped to their clients," end quote. If the report is accurate, the attack will represent at least the second major security breach at Nvidia in the past 6 months. Last summer, a list of hundreds of unannounced games was data mined from its GeForce Now platform, some of which have since been announced. There is currently no evidence linking Nvidia's outages to the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. The U.S. government has told companies to prepare for potential cyber attacks on Western companies in the wake of Russia's invasion. Alejandro Mayorkas, the U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security, said this week, "We have no information to suggest a specific credible cyber attack threat against the U.S. homeland, but it is our responsibility to be prepared." And it continues from here. So obviously cyber attacks on Nvidia can mean a lot of crazy things could happen, some of which, the clientele needs to be careful of. Injecting drivers that you download off of Nvidia.com with additional malware that could spread across the, entire population of Nvidia GPUs in existence. And I actually downloaded one, so who knows at this point. There's a lot of potential here for scary, scary things. GeForce Now packaging could get packaged with some sort of additional malware, RAT tools, remote access tools, etc. And it gets more interesting because now from Tom's Hardware, Nvidia hackers, this is an hour ago, threatened to release mining limiter killer. But they also requested Nvidia remove the mining performance limiter itself. So are these hackers or attackers part of cryptocurrency? Who knows? South American-based hacking group Lapsus $ is threatening to disclose software and firmware data for Nvidia's light hash rate mining performance limiter. The new information gleaned from alleged screenshots from the group's Telegram activity comes hot on the heels of last week's Nvidia hack, the details of which the company is keeping close to its chest. But the group appeared to be confident in the quality of the stolen data, as they've already put up an announcement for the sale of data that would enable the bypass of Nvidia's light hash rate as implemented on the company's GA102 and GA104 chips. Should Lapsus threat come to pass, that would mean that every Nvidia 3000 series card ranging from the 3060 through the 3090, which has never been light hash rate locked, by the way, could be again turned into a 100% mining performance powerhouse. So they need to correct this article from the 3060 to the RTX 3080 Ti would be the range of light hash rate GPUs. The 3050 also would be added into here. And of course, seeing what the full potential of the 3050 would be pretty impressive. You know, we already have an idea of what most of these GPUs should be getting. You can calculate out, you know, via the math, and like the 3050 should be around 30 mega hash a second, for example. 3080 Ti should be around 115 mega hash, for example. So they could have fixed this a little bit better. It would technically be cards ranging from the RTX 3050 to the RTX 3080 Ti, as the RTX 3090 has never been locked. So just a note there. Besides the obvious immediate implications of higher profit rates for already deployed mining systems, it's unclear how this move would affect the graphics card market. Considering how Ethereum's move to proof of stake, referred to as the merge, is expected to conclude in the first half of this year. Anyone investing in extra cryptocurrency mining hardware, read Nvidia graphics card, would have a limited time to make their investment back and actually turn a profit. This rings particularly true considering the cryptocurrencies market's overall downtrend since the start of the year, until we had an uptrend today and back over 40K and finally broke that 39K barrier, which is pretty funny to read this because they wrote this 3 hours ago. Come on. We had already seen it re-break that 40K. Come on. Keep up to date, Tom's Hardware. That could deter many miners from actually doing another run at graphics cards, even as the market slowly returns to normal after more than 2 years of terrible supply and pricing scenarios. It is, however, interesting that the group is asking Nvidia to remove the light hash rate limiter by themselves in exchange for a hardware folder, or an HW folder, of stolen data not being leaked and distributed. Why the group would ask Nvidia to lift the mining limiter by themselves when the group claims to be selling an unlocker of sorts for most of Nvidia's RTX 3000 series lineup is unclear, and could cast some doubts on the legitimacy of the claims. Lapsus seems to be doing what it can to pressure Nvidia to the negotiating table, while seemingly playing to the approval of the cryptocurrency mining community. The group claims to have stolen 1 terabyte of sensitive data and information, including product schematics, driver and firmware data, documentation, private tools, and software development kits, as well as everything about Falcon. Falcon is a special class of microcontroller that ships inside all Nvidia GPUs and takes on a variety of roles ranging from video decoding to memory copying to security. Depending on the sensitivity of the stolen data, Falcon could thus be rendered an ineffective defense. The group claims that it still hasn't been contacted by Nvidia and have in the meantime distributed part of the stolen data. Sources who have accessed said data have said that it matches the group's claims. There's at least the suspicion that the group's claims are true and that they have and that they have indeed obtained valuable data within the 1 terabyte claimed to have been stolen. Nvidia's continued silence on the matter, saying only it's investigating an incident, isn't the usual corporation response in such cases. Even less so is the purported reverse hack Nvidia reportedly conducted on Lapsus, where they attempted to ransomware their data back from the group. And dude, if that's true, there's no way a company should ever retaliate with their own ransomware attack. That is crazy. This has been confirmed by Lapsus, but the group claims to already have copied and backed up the data before the attempted intrusion, rendering Nvidia's efforts fruitless. This cloak and dagger back and forth dance between a mega corporation such as Nvidia and a hacking group isn't par for the course. Perhaps Nvidia really is taking a long time to assess how exactly this could impact its business. That in turn likely means the impact wouldn't be negligible. So, weird responses from Nvidia. I used to work basically in kind of this sector where ransomware did happen. Your standard go-to, of course, in those cases was making sure all the data that needed to be secured, anything that had, financial information on it or customer information on it, private data, making sure that that was secured in some manner, and then always having a backup. So if you had some sort of ransomware that got onto the system, you would have a incremental backup to roll back to once you found out where, of course, the security vulnerability is. So when they're talking about Nvidia just executing a ransomware attack back onto the hackers, it's kind of silly. I mean, it seems like a bad move. That being said, so does the RTX 4000 series Ada Lovelace, where we see above 450 watts on the power consumption for these GPUs. It appears NVIDIA is struggling in more ways than one. Now, we do need to clarify a couple things with the Tom's Hardware article. One was, of course, the misrepresentation of the RTX 3090 being a light hash rate GPU. It has never been, and I don't think ever will be, locked with light hash rate. Hence that's why a lot of the GPU miners started purchasing them, because it made sense to a lot of people to just go ahead and purchase for a while there, while they were a little cheaper, like around that $2,000 mark, to purchase the 3090s. And then another thing about this is talking about the merge, Ethereum moving proof of stake. What this would unlock essentially would be, of course, the light hash rate for ET hash. So this could apply to other coins as well outside of Ethereum post-merge, right? So we're talking about Ethereum Classic, etc. But in addition to that, like we've seen, the proof of stake move from Ethereum seems to be up in the air, right? Some say June, some say July, some say August. Who knows? And that's the quote from Vitalik Buterin that we've talked about here on this channel. So at this point, to say that for sure it's going to happen within the first half of the year is pretty unlikely, especially since he gave himself that leeway all the way to August. That would be the second half of the year. And as far as the mining unlocker itself, if we're talking across like a huge farm like I just saw where there were a lot of 3080 Ti's online, that would potentially increase the short-term profits pretty significantly for a lot of these farms that do have light hash rate GPUs already deployed, and that's going to be a big deal. Now, why would they specifically want to force NVIDIA to release or launch the light hash rate unlock themselves? I don't know exactly. I think that from that perspective, it's commendable to try to make NVIDIA do it, because what we're talking about is bypassing the whole worry of the hackers injecting malware into their release of it, I suppose. And that would make, essentially the miners feel safer in downloading whatever driver or software to unlock it would be. But at the same time, I don't know if this is just if they are miners themselves or if they're trying to get some sort of support from the cryptocurrency community. I'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Morning Show every Monday through Friday, 7:45 a.m. Pacific and 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time. You can check out more clips here, or if you're interested in checking out the entire live show, you can check that out down here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday.